Hello, everyone. Welcome to Degens for a Brighter Future. My name is Jorge, and today we have our guest, Qris, from DefiCrypto.Today, an awesome educational platform for people to learn about DeFi, the tools, and a little bit about how it works. How are you doing today, Qris?
I'm doing great. Nice to be here.
Hey, thank you so much for coming. We greatly appreciate it. Just before we started, I wanted to actually start off this conversation asking you, how did you find yourself in DeFi? How did you enter cryptocurrency? What's your background? Did you come from finance or any type of business in any certain fashion?
I do have a finance background, but that's from a very long time ago. And I kind of stumbled into crypto and DeFi by accident about a year ago. So originally, I was very, very long time ago. Okay, we're talking the 1980s. I was a certified financial advisor, was a certified stockbroker, but that's long gone. And so I'm not certified anything right now. I was introduced to Bitcoin several years ago, almost 8 years ago, and by some guy that used to have his own YouTube channel. It was called The Bitcoin Show at that time. But I did not quite like that guy. And I didn't find him very trustworthy. So, and at that time, he kind of explained what Bitcoin was about. It's supposed to be a digital currency. And that sounded interesting. The problem I had with it is that the price fluctuations were so wild back then. Bitcoin was like around $500 at that time. And it could double or crash 50% in a day. Okay. Wow. It was so wild. And I said, how the heck are you supposed to use that as a currency to pay for anything? And at that time already, I said, we need something stable. Like we need to have a digital currency that has a price that doesn't fluctuate, essentially a stable coin. But those weren't invented back then. And he didn't quite understand my idea either, and so on. And anyway, so I kind of missed out on that boat at $500 per Bitcoin.
A lot of people
did. Yeah, and I did not think about it for several years after that until my assistant actually started playing with crypto because his friends were playing with crypto. And as it turns out, my entire street here is playing with crypto. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of the last one on the street to find it. Then they started doing stuff on DeFi. They were staking tokens on PancakeSwap and LP pools and so on. And at that time, the rates were fantastic on PancakeSwap, several 100%, whatever. And that was just before the crash in 2021 in May. Cake at that time was around $45, I think, $45. And it crashed in mid-May and hasn't recuperated since then. But so that was my introduction to crypto and DeFi. In June, I decided to write my book that I'm giving for free on my channel, explaining how to use Aave. And at that time, there was a promotion with Matic. So it was very, very lucrative at that time to do the strategy that I was explaining. The strategy still works, but it's not as lucrative now. But there's still a lot of websites where we can use the same strategy and make a ton of money if we want to. So that was the intro.
No, I think it's fantastic how this kind of made it your way. And even though you left this financial advisor position, stock advisor position, this somehow kind of brought you back in the fold in a different way, right? I think, by the way, before we go on, totally forgot to mention, everything we talk about here is not financial advice. Do your own research. We always say that. Anyways, going on with the show. So I guess the next thing I wanted to ask you, so obviously you found lucrative ways to use DeFi for yourself. What was the inspiration that kind of moved you into wanting to educate people how to use tools like Aave or maybe PancakeSwap or other AMMs?
Well, the first thing is that I thought for myself, a lot of tools were not explained properly. Mm-hmm. And I had to go through all kinds of tests and experiments to try to understand how each DeFi protocol worked. And, you'd think that Aave, for instance, would prominently display at what frequency the APY is compounded. Mm-hmm. But it's not. You have to really dig deep in the documentation, and then you discover that it's every 12 seconds, okay? And it's like, why isn't that prominently displayed? And there's a lot of things, okay, that are not clear, I find, in DeFi. Because what I think the problem is that a lot of people that design in these websites are engineers. They think like engineers. They don't think like end users.
Right.
Okay. And I worked in customer service for many, many years. Okay. And I know what the pain points are for customers. Okay. Things have to be painfully obvious to end users. Okay. You have to make it like big, fat, and bold. Okay. So that they understand. And you have to make it as simple as possible. And a lot of protocols don't do that. And they complicate things for no reason. I mean, just look at Wonderland. Why do they have 3 tokens?
Right.
It confuses the heck out of people. Okay. If you look, there's still about 30,000 wallets that hold time.
Wow. And you're not even getting staking yield or anything.
Not earning the APY. They haven't figured that out. And for God knows how long, some of them could have been holding these tokens for months. Okay. Imagine how much they lost in terms of revenue.
Right.
And then you have people, like at the time when they were doing bonding, now they stopped that, but people were confused about bonding, okay, because they did not understand that they were buying the time token using another token or another token pair. They thought they can get the new time token once it's vested, and that they would get back the tokens that they put in. That wasn't clear, okay? That wasn't clear. And still today, every single day, I keep getting messages of people saying they don't understand wrap memo. Why is the number of my wrap memos are not going up? Okay.
Right.
They don't understand that it's wrapped, so the APY is inside. Okay. If you unwrap it, okay, you get a big pile of memos. But because it's wrapped, you're not getting extra memos every time there's a rebate. They still haven't figured that out. And it's not that clear on the website either. You really have to dig into documentation, and it's not that clear even when you read the documentation. So it's super confusing. I blame Olympus for that, because they started the system, they made it like that, and they just haven't made it easy for people to understand, you know. And the same thing with the backing value. Okay, it's not a backing; it's the net asset value per token. It's like when you buy shares of an ETF and you get the net asset value per share. Okay, that's what it is. But because it says backing, people thought that was the lowest possible market price. But the lowest possible market price is 1 min. It's not programmed. It's programmed automatically to buy back the tokens if the price of the tokens go down below 1 min. But it's not programmed to buy back automatically if the value of the token is below its net asset value. So again, you know, it's super confusing, super confusing. So that's why I decided to do my channel, to try to explain these things, try to clarify these things. And that's why I take forever in my videos. I take the very long videos because I explain everything step by step to try to make it clearer and clearer for them.
No, and you know, I think it's actually very virtuous that you're doing that, because I find it quite interesting, because I've had the opportunity to meet quite a few developers, you know, and I think some of the challenges they face is keeping things very clear, you know, and it's also having to sift, being quite frank, I'm a DeFi Degen myself, you know, so I play around with all these applications on different blockchains. But it's sometimes you can go into a blockchain and you can find plenty of applications that unfortunately in the back end are scams, you know, and it's very difficult to sift sometimes between so many different projects at the same time, and then go on Twitter and find people who also use these applications, you know, and that's a challenge.
We have to define what a scam is. People don't even understand what a scam is.
Right.
There's a guy this week who lost money on Mirror Protocol, and he says it's a scam because he lost money on Mirror Protocol. The guy was shorting Coke. The guy was shorting Coke. You never short Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola always makes money. Doesn't matter if it's a recession, the end of the world, humanity could be gone. It's still going to make cash. Okay? It's like a cockroach. It will always survive. Okay? It's relentless. Okay? It's a cash machine. Why the heck would you short that? The guy also shorted gold. What the hell was he thinking? We have a war. going on in Ukraine. We have political uncertainty in the US. We don't know who's going to be elected in the Congress this year. We have these elections, right?
Right.
Biden's not doing so well. Okay, the economy is, probably going to have a recession in the US. When you have all these uncertainties, people take refuge in gold. Why did you short that? Okay, and he says, well, I lost money because the premium went too high and so on. Okay, but why were you shorting assets that are going up, right?
Right.
So now he thinks Mirror is a scam because he lost money on this.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah. See, it's a bit like saying Bitcoin's a scam. Why? Because I bought it at 60,000 and it's now 38. Right?
Right. Exactly.
So every time I lose money, it's a scam. Every time I make money, it's the best project on earth. Is that what it is? Right? I mean, see, people have to understand what a scam is. And also, like at some point, everything was a Ponzi. Bitcoin was a Ponzi. The traditional banking system was a Ponzi. Olympus DAO was a Ponzi. Wonderland was a Ponzi. Everything was a Ponzi. They don't even know what a Ponzi is. Okay, we need to do so much more education. Like the problem I think I'm perceiving is that you have these people that never invested in anything whatsoever before. Maybe they bought a watch before, and that's about it. Okay, or a pair of shoes, and then they stumbled on crypto, and they figured, oh wow, I can make money quickly on this. Okay, because you've got all these YouTubers that say, oh, this one's going to go 100x. Sure. Because it's super easy to get into crypto. It's a lot harder to do to get into stocks, although not as hard as it used to be, but it's a bit harder. There's KYC to be done and all kinds of stuff. But and it's a lot less exciting because the stock market typically doesn't go up and down more than a couple % per day. Except maybe Friday, I think it went down like 4 or 5%, something like that. But typically, it's not very, very exciting. I mean, the S&P 500 on a good year is going to give you 8%, right? But with crypto, you could theoretically double your money.
I'll just ask Chris the next question.
Yes,
so
please do.
You said bigger bulls, bigger bears are saying 20K. Where do you think we're going? I mean, today's May. As of right now, it's like May 1st or 2nd. Where do you think the market's going to be in the summertime?
It depends where the interest rates are going to go. Okay, if the Federal Reserve decides to jack up interest rates, the stock market is going to go down and the crypto market is going to go down. I think what we felt was anticipation over the rising interest rates. So they're taking into account, they're extrapolating and they're expecting a sudden rise in interest rates. And I think that's why the market has been tumbling. So, if inflation keeps going up very fast, the Federal Reserve is probably going to want to raise interest rates. It depends on a lot of factors, okay? Technology usually is deflationary. Computers are always cheaper and always faster. So they make productivity greater and greater, which means it costs less and less to produce products and services. So do we have sufficient technological power now to reduce inflation or not? So it depends, okay? If people stop buying products, okay, that's going to push the price of products down also, okay? So if people have less cash in hand, it's going to create deflation, okay? And that if we have less inflation, interest rates are not going to go up as fast, and then the stock market is going to pick up and the crypto market is going to pick up. So we're like, it's very difficult to say. What I'm expecting though is that Europe is definitely going to be in recession because they're too dependent on oil and food from Russia and Ukraine. And the United States, for some reason, has been shutting down food processing plants. So I'm not sure if they want to raise the food prices and make the Europeans pay double. I'm not sure what the strategy is. So There's been dozens and dozens of food processing plants being shut down in the US. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's part of a concerted strategy or what, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it depends. If food prices go up in the US, then yeah, we're going to have a lot of inflation, and then interest rates will go up, and then the stock market will shut down, go down, and the crypto market will go further down. So there's a ton of risk right now. There's a ton of risk in the market at the moment. Yeah. But as I said, also technology might save the day. Okay, if technology makes a lot of products and services cheaper, that's going to reduce inflation considerably. But right now, there's a lot of pressure for inflation to go up. It's very uncertain. It's very uncertain. I would do like Warren Buffett. I would buy more gold and more petroleum.
Yeah, commodities. Commodities is the name of the game, it looks like, right?
Well, if that makes sense, because in an inflationary market, those prices will go up. It actually, yeah, I just kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I called it stagflation. Qris, do you think that's where we're going to go? Like be in a recessionary economy with inflationary prices?
I think because technology is moving so fast, I think not. I don't think we're going to be stuck in a stagflation. I mean, just look at Elon Musk is coming up with a phone. There's going to be a Tesla phone coming. I saw something about that. I mean, think about it. With this constellation of satellites, the phone is going to be usable anywhere on the planet with one service provider.
Right.
Now, Qris, I think about that. I think
it's a big revolution. Okay. Imagine, the time saving, the cost savings. You could fly anywhere on the planet. You don't have to change anything. You're always connected to the network. Okay. That could be game changing. That could be game changing. Elon is working on so many things at the same time. I don't know how he manages, but he's pushing the envelope very fast at many levels. As you were talking about commodities, there's a ton of metals we should be investing in, like nickel and lithium. And there's a pile of other ones, especially because of everything's going to be running on batteries right now. If you invest in nickel, you're going to be rich.
I don't know if you saw the metals market in London recently, that nickel had a massive short squeeze. I think it ran from $30,000 to $82,000. And then there's this big controversy because the metals market actually rolled back the price of nickel during that short squeeze. So, I mean, I think there's also
the LME. The LME is not a free market. The crypto market is a true free market. The only real capitalistic market in existence is the crypto market. And that's why I don't want the governments to put the big fat paws on it. If you wanted me to talk about the future, where I think the future of crypto is, I can tell you right now. The future of crypto should be like this: self-governance. People that are in crypto, the investors that are in crypto, okay, should govern themselves. Okay, they should self-regulate. Okay, a lot of people say, "Oh, I got scammed on protocol X. Okay, they rug pulled me. Blah blah blah. We need government." Government can't do shit. Anybody can open up a protocol anytime, anywhere, anonymously. Okay, and if people are silly enough to invest in it, well, they're gonna get rug pulled. So the developers should create some sort of guild or a syndicate, okay, an association, okay, where they would, a little bit like the dentists do and the doctors do. They have their own organizations, okay? And you have like certified developers, okay? And the certified developers follow a code of ethics, okay? Thou shalt not rug pull, okay? Because look, I know a guy, okay? He's been rug pulled twice by his own devs. He tried to put in place security measures, but they still managed to screw him up. So the developers and the promoters and all the parties involved should be part of some sort of association, okay? And sign a, they should follow a training, first of all, and they should have a code of ethics. And that association should have a way to have recourse against members that go astray.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if a member goes rogue and steals people's money, well, they've got his ID. Okay, the guy has been KYC'd with the association or something, and they can send the police up his.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's no such organization at the moment, as far as I know, anywhere. And also, the auditors are very smart people. Okay, they know what the code's doing. If they're auditing code that is an actual Ponzi scheme, well, they should turn down the business from that protocol, because Ponzi schemes are illegal and they're damageable. You know, they steal people's money, right?
Qris, I have a question really quick. You were on that note, that topic. I know you were talking earlier about, for example, Time Wonderland protocol at Time Wonderland. I know I was very involved in that protocol in the beginning. I had a lot of faith in it. I liked the self-governance aspect of it. And by the time the whole debacle unfolded, I really, I literally haven't taken my stake time or my stake memo out of the platform, just because at this point I just let it roll, right? How do you get away from something like that type of scenario where you have Daniel Sesta, which is a very reputable developer, but then you have somebody like Sifu, who was involved in the Quadriga issue way before, who has a history of scamming investors. How do we prevent that, in the sense that it's not really a problem with the protocol, it's a problem with the developers themselves? And how would you handle that situation and with what happened with Time Wonderland, for example?
Okay, I look at evidence. Were there any evidence that Sifu misappropriated funds at Wonderland? Okay, he managed the treasury. All the transactions are available on the blockchain. Okay, a lot of people have looked at the transactions and nobody so far found that he stole any money. So look, the guy could be Hitler's son. I don't care. If he doesn't steal money and he's making money for the protocol, I think it's fine. The guy is a criminal. He served time in jail for it, and then decided to move on and start Wonderland, and he did other projects as well. Okay, but during his stay at Wonderland, I have no evidence that came to light that he stole anything. So for me, it's a non-event. The problem is he has a bad reputation. Okay, he has a bad reputation, and that was not disclosed early enough. Daniele said he only learned about it several months after he hired the guy, and he kept silent for about a month, I think, a month or two after he learned the fact. And then somebody got paid to expose Sifu. I'm not sure who did that, but somebody who doesn't like Daniele did that. Because the guy who exposed Sifu has been watching Sifu since the very beginning of Wonderland, but gets silent for 6 months. So why expose him now and not expose him back in September when the project started? He knew already, okay? There's a lot of hiffy stuff going on around this. So me personally, it did not change the way I looked at Wonderland at that time, okay? I still believe in the project. I did not care that Sifu was a known criminal, because he did not steal any money at Wonderland. The damage that was created because people said, oh, I don't want to put my money in a place that's run by a criminal. Yeah, that's bad. But that's part of some sort of concerted effort to try to destroy Wonderland. It was we saw that bots were set up to push the price down and try to create liquidations on Abracadabra. Some whales set up bots and created a flood storm for several months to try to push the price of Wonderland down, and they succeeded. Okay, they probably racked millions and millions out of this. Okay, and all the people that wanted to dissolve Wonderland were all whales. They all had thousands and thousands of tokens. So, it looks like a lot of people were trying to push the project down. I don't blame Daniele, except for the fact that he should have released the information sooner about Sifu. But whether or not he would have released the information early, I think the results would have been the same. People would have been scandalized about Sifu's presence, and they would have dumped their token just in fear. Now, if you look at the price of the Sifu token, okay, that's new, the Sifu Vision project that Sifu created after he left Wonderland, price has been steady, okay? It did not follow the market crash. So if you actually invested in this project, you would not have lost any money right now. It's a little bit ironic, but anyway. I don't know if that answers your question, but me personally, I would not have done anything.
And you still believe in the protocol you mentioned?
Well, right now, there's supposed to be, I don't know if they finished choosing the new treasury manager. I know they were looking for a guy from Bastion. Forget his nickname now.
You mean Bastion Near protocol?
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's finalized or not. I haven't checked recently. They were supposed to be voting on that. Okay. I think that was imminent. I think they're supposed to, it might be ready right now. I don't know.
What direction do you think Time Wonderland is taking at this point?
Well, I'm a little bit disappointed that a lot of people took advantage of the rage quit, because now the treasury is about 20% of where it was. So they have a lot less money. They only have a couple $100 million now instead of over 1-point-something billion at some point. But still, it's a lot of money. And if they're doing the right thing, they could grow that treasury very, very fast.
Yeah, the treasury right now is at 271 million, which is ways off from where they were.
Well, they lost $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
It was over 1.2 billion for a while. So they lost $1 billion due to all that mess. But, you know.
So, Qris, question.
Yeah.
So when you, I think you were very early on the Wonderland train. I believe you got in there like probably right at the beginning, right? When it was like $600 or something, maybe.
I bought it like 1 or 2 weeks after it started.
So you were doing pretty well off up until, let's say, mid-November or whatever, and then just kept going down and down. So question, so how much,
I didn't lose much money at all. I didn't lose much money at all.
Because of the rebasing, right?
Yeah. I was down about 40%.
Okay. So how much of your portfolio was it when you first got into Wonderland versus to November? How much was it? And then how much is it now? Like how much of your portfolio is this time?
See, because I knew it was very risky, I only invested a couple $1,000. And at one point it went up quite a bit. It was fantastically high. It was like almost 20 grand at the top. And then now it's like, it just a little under 2,000. So I'm very close to my original investment, okay? I didn't lose much money at all on that because I bought it very early when it was low. And right now, honestly, I think if you're betting on the new asset manager, the new treasury manager, and you still believe that that Daniele is a visionary that knows what he's doing, which I think he is, and if they can hire more a team leader for the development team, I think the sky's the limit on Wonderland. But it's still very risky, okay? So I wouldn't put a very large percentage of my portfolio on it, like 1%, 2%, something like that, because it's very risky. But right now it's at the bottom of the barrel. I mean, you can't. The best time to buy anything is when there's blood in the street, okay? When nobody wants it, everything. But you look at the fundamentals, okay? Are they fixing the problems? Do they still have a large customer base? I mean, they still have about 300,000 users, right? Investors. That's huge in DeFi. That's huge in DeFi, okay? Also, let's not forget, BetSwap is getting closer and closer to launch, okay? They're probably going to be one of the biggest players in esport betting arena. There's a lot of chance that they could make a ton of money because they're the bookie, okay? They make money no matter if you win or lose your bet. And that's the place where you want to be, right?
So
it's like Binance, you know. Why is Binance so profitable? Well, because they make money no matter if you win or lose money. They always make money, right?
Right. Being the middleman is oftentimes the most profitable business there is. But technology quickly cuts away at different middlemen. So we'll just see what happens as the future goes on. My next question I wanted to ask you. So we're a fairly new platform. You know, we're learning as we go. You're actually our third guest. How did you grow your channel to where it is right now and building your community as you have?
A lot of videos. It took a long time. It took a very long time. I started around June in 2021, and then the numbers started looking good around October. I mean, most of my early videos got like 10 views, 20 views, 50 views, something like that. And then gradually, I started getting hundreds and several hundred views and so on. Now, the problem I'm experiencing right now, I'm not getting a lot of views recently. The last couple of months have been tough. So I'm trying to figure out how to reinvent myself a bit and try to figure out what's going to work better.
I think the challenge is when the market's down, the energy in the space also decreases. If you look across, every major cryptocurrency YouTube channel, like just picking one I watch frequently, Crypto Banner, we've seen huge drops in views from where they were at the peak of the bull market when ETH broke 3,000 and rallied to 4,000 and went just over that. Like, I remember those days. And, that show was having, 30,000, 20,000, 50,000 in streamed views at my time, like around 10 in the morning, so it is challenging. But likewise, I feel at the same time, as people who create content with our own opinions and also trying to be educators as well, I think it's important to realize that the viewers we have or gain or grow, are likely the people that will succeed most in the bull market. And those views will, well, not necessarily that for watching me or for watching you, not financial advice, but just going through the process of learning, aggregating information, finding it on YouTube, reading white papers, reading all the marketing that you can or materials that you can, going through Twitter. So I think that that's kind of what's going on our end.
But it's also, for me, it's still a learning experience. Every day I'm trying to learn, do things better. As I said, I'm going to start making TikTok videos as well, try to promote my brand on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that short videos also very, very popular. Unfortunately, I tend to make hour-long videos. So
right now we're in that too.
Now, the thing is, people like hype, and fortunately, hype doesn't cut it for long-term investment.
Right.
You have to verify the hype, okay? And that's why most of my videos, I tend not to talk much about hype, okay? And I tend to tell people to be prudent. And people have to understand that all the new protocols that come out will fail.
Right.
Almost all of them. At least 90% of all new protocols will fail, okay? Why? It's like a protocol is a business, right? You start a business and it's an experiment. Is it going to succeed? Will people like the product or not? Is it going to work the way we intended it to work? And then we launch the code and then we find out, ooh, people are using it differently than what we expected, okay? Mm-hmm. And whales get in, and then they found the whales found a way to suck the juice out of the project, and the sharks come in, and then this happens and that happens. Okay, that's what happened to Wonderland. Everything was fine and rosy up till November. And then November, what happened? COVID Omicron came out. The stock market crashed. The crypto market crashed. People start crying, oh, I'm losing money. Do something. And then Daniela said, oh, those poor people, we're going to help them. No, it doesn't work like that, okay? You lose money on the stock market or on the crypto market, well, tough freaking luck, okay? Grow a spine, okay? Losing money on the financial markets is normal, okay? You cannot control the market. The market is too powerful, okay? You can influence some parts of the market from time to time, but the market always wins. The market is like gravity, okay? The weakest force, but it's the one that always wins, okay? You have these whales that are going to try to influence the market. You're going to have all kinds of people that are going to try to influence the market, like the Federal Reserve is going to print too much money. It's going to do all kinds of things to influence the market. But the market forces always win, okay? You have to understand that. The tokens are going down in the project that you invested in. Well, too bad. You bought it at the wrong time. If you bought it high and you're selling low, you're an idiot. Learn not to become an idiot. Buy low and sell high, okay, and try to figure out if the protocol can sustain itself or not, okay? Like how many tune forks came and went,
Right.
okay? There are not that many left. There are not that many left, okay? Those that are left, maybe they can sustain themselves longer. So investigate and then figure out, is the price right or not, okay? Can you still make money with this thing even though the price went down and so on? Same with like Olympus DAO, for instance. People think it's dead. It's not dead. It's everywhere. I don't know if people realize that, but they build a huge ecosystem. You go on Dopex, for instance, okay? They have options on OWN, okay? You can deposit on Jones DAO and earn income on an option strategy that they built using Dopex. It's all over the place, okay? And again, I didn't lose much money on Olympus as well. I started with like 3 or 4 tokens. Now I think I've got 70 tokens. Okay, just because of the rebases. I think I'm down maybe 20-30%, you know, even though the price of the token tanked like 99%, you know, from the all-time high. So, you know, you have to learn how to do the math. I try to explain that even though the price could tank, you could still long-term make money with these. And so far been right. And the market's going to come back up at some point. Olympus now is over a year old already, and they have no sign of slowing down. Their protocol-owned liquidity service is selling like hotcakes. It's generating revenue for the protocol, you know? Right. And a lot of protocols are copying that model now.
Yeah, a lot of those forks haven't been working out quite well.
No. They're not copying all of it. They're copying the protocol-owned liquidity model, okay? They're not going with sky-high APY, okay? They're selling bonds to build their treasury, and they're using that treasury to invest and generate income for the token holder. They're adapting the system for their own purposes.
I think
There's a lot of evolution that's happening.
I think though that you know, this might be controversial, but a model like that on the back end, you know, could be the moving of user funds to individuals who hold the tokens. So people could be investing, and then that money could be getting reinvested to the token holders, or to the people that sell. No, so isn't it possible that some of these could be Ponzi schemes?
Okay, a Ponzi scheme is you give me money, okay? I claim that I'm doing something with your money, that I'm investing your money in some way, and then I'm going to give you a certain percentage, okay? But in fact, the percentage I'm giving you is coming from your own pocket and the pocket of other investors, because I decided I'm actually not reinvesting the money that you gave me. That's a Ponzi scheme, because it does not have a real business, okay? It's not taking the money and putting it to work. It's not depositing the money on Uniswap, let's say, and in an LP pool to generate swap fees, for instance. It's not depositing the money on Aave to earn interest. It's not lending the money and charging interest on it either. Whatever else we can do. It's not investing it on Dopex and structured products to generate income and collecting premiums from options. Okay, those are all good ways to make honest income, but it's not doing that. All it's doing is like it's charging you, most of the projects do like Titano, they charge you a tax at the entry, they charge you a tax at the exit, okay? And they claim that the income is coming just for that. But if you've done any account, if you learn accounting, you know that they're short, okay? They're running at a deficit, okay? And very, very fast. It just takes a few weeks to be in a deficit with that. Okay, so the only way for you to maintain the system is to attract more and more investors constantly. Okay, but the longer you stay in there, the harder it is for you to get all the income you're supposed to be getting. And Drip is doing the same thing, but Drip is a little bit smarter because it's charging you higher and higher and higher taxes. So the more you earn, the more you have to pay back. Okay, but it's still a Ponzi scheme. They're not investing the money anywhere else. I would have no problem with those two things if they were investing in something.
I see.
Okay, but they're not. I don't care if they charge you tax or not tax. I don't like the tax thing, but the taxes are not sufficient to pay that crazy income they're supposed to be giving you. Okay, and that's my problem.
I see.
At Olympus, they have they sell you tokens, okay, at a discount, and the tokens cost them $1 DAI. So the token is selling right now, I don't know how much, let's say $20, okay? And it's costing them $1 DAI. Well, they've got 19 DAI of profit,
Mhm.
right? That's income. That's real. And then they take those 19 dies and they invest them in liquidity pools, and they're earning swap fees. That's income also.
Mhm.
And on top of that, they're selling the protocol on liquidity service to almost 60, there's at least 60 protocols now that are using their services. And they're charging them 3.3% of all the sales.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's further income. And they've got several ways of earning income in the protocol. So it's not a Ponzi, okay? They actually generate a real honest income.
I'd like to clarify, like I wasn't saying that all of them are. I'm just saying that some of them might be. You know, that's all I was trying to say. Because that model can, you know, it's very easy on the front end to show, you know, take a look at the documentation of another project, and on the back end you take some of this money and you redistribute it and you increase it, and then the token holders see the price appreciation, you know, and all this money might just be flowing in between investors. I'm not claiming that or necessarily time, or you know, I just want to clarify that. So
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Titano, for instance, what I really don't like about it is that on the front page, on their homepage, they claim that you're investing into an investment fund that takes the money from the treasury and invests it in various other projects. And if you look inside the protocol, in the treasury, they only have one token in there. They have BNB.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not deposited into anything that earns interest. So they're lying to our faces.
So you're investing, so basically that's an investment fund where they're only investing their earnings into one currency, being BNB. That's it.
Well, essentially, when you buy the Titano token, you go on Pancake Swap, right? And you need to have BNB in your wallet. So you exchange your BNB for the Titano token, and the BNB goes into the treasury wallet of the protocol, and that's it. And it stays there and does nothing. They're not even depositing it on anything that is earning any interest. I checked, I looked at their wallets. They've got like 3 wallets and none of them are invested in anything. They just have those BNB tokens sitting there doing nothing. So they're lying. And again, they're supposed to be audited by Certic, and Certic couldn't figure that out. You know what I mean? Like, the problem is that Certic is just looking at the code and checking if the code is doing what it's supposed to be doing, okay? But they're not checking the claims that the business is making. And I think they have an ethical responsibility to check that too.
Actually, if you don't mind me asking one last thing, and I'm so sorry, I'll pass it to Gio. I think you bring up a really interesting point. How reliable do you think some of these auditing firms really are?
They're not.
You heard it today, folks.
Okay, Certic is a tier 3. If you want a reliable auditor, you want tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but can you afford it?
I mean, how many protocols can afford to have like a Deloitte or a KPMG to come in and audit their protocols? And I don't even think that those people would have the capabilities to audit crypto protocols.
Okay,
that's a very good point.
2 different kinds of audits. Those are 2 different kinds of audits. Okay, and you bring a very good point. We have code audits right now, but we're missing, and this I've been talking about that at other AMAs, we're missing financial audits. There are no protocols that I know of, that I'm aware of, that have financial audits or even financial statements. The only exception is Olympus DAO, that I'm aware of, that has financial details on their homepage now. It's a new feature, okay? It shows their revenue and their expenses and their assets and liabilities. So it's getting a little bit closer, but we're far from having real, honest financial statement. Okay, I want to see a balance sheet. I want to see an income statement, the profit and loss, and I want to see cash flow and all that. Okay, and also I need to see like what is the token holders' equity. Okay, a little bit like the shareholders. We need to know about this. Okay, and that's hidden, and it shouldn't be hidden because we're on the blockchain, which is supposed to be transparent.
Right. And you know,
that's missing. You
know, I think maybe what would be a really good piece of information too is I think for a lot of people, they get intimidated when they see something like Etherscan, but it should be almost like a prerequisite for people who engage in DeFi, because it's amazing how I mean, Titano in particular, now that you mention that, it's amazing how fast that grew. Nobody could figure out how, and it's unfortunate. I can't, this is speculation on my part, but I would imagine that something was going on in the back end with a lot of these YouTubers, Twitter people who are shilling Titano. Here in this channel, we don't particularly shill anything, but that is very that's a very concerning part of the industry. So I think there is this kind of fine line. I like what you mentioned earlier about self-governance. I think that would be a very good model.
We need self-governance.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any
self-governance? The governments are not going to interfere with us as much. It's a little bit like the chartered accountants have self-governance. You have to be a member of the Chartered Accountants Association or whatever, corporation or whatever it's called, okay? And if you're a member, you have to follow a certain training, and you have to pass a certain exam, and you have to follow the code of conducts, the code of ethics. Right now, there's no such thing in crypto as far as I know. We need this desperately, because right now the governments are creeping in right now. You just saw New York State just banned proof of work, for crying out loud. Essentially, they're banning Bitcoin and Ethereum. How primitive is that? And we everybody who understands proof of work knows that, yeah, we're not using coal mines, okay, to produce electricity to power proof of work, but they're using like fake information, okay, saying that proof of work is consuming so much energy that it's damaging climate and so on. And Europe is trying to ban Bitcoin as well, the same way. Why? Because they don't know how else they can ban it. Mm-hmm. You know why politicians don't like crypto? Two reasons. The first reason is the transactions are on the blockchain and they're public. They don't like that because politicians are crooked and they're getting money under the table. If the transactions are on the blockchain, everybody can see them because they would have to declare their wallets because they work for the public. Exactly. Public servants, they have to divulge that information, okay? So everybody would know all their transaction instantly. They don't want that, okay? The second one is they're not sure how to tax this. And some countries just said, well, we're just not going to tax it because we don't know how to do it. Or they're going to do like Poland, and they say, well, if you take crypto out of if you sell your crypto for fiat, then we tax you. But whatever you make in crypto, we don't care. So every country's got a different way of dealing with this. But they don't like the fact that they have trouble taxing it, and they don't like the fact that they're going to be exposed naked, okay, with all their transactions that they're doing under the table. They really don't like that. Everything that happens in the world, everything that's a mess, okay, is because of politicians, okay, that getting kickbacks. And it's true. And we would see it very, very obviously, okay? It would not be a secret anymore, and they want to keep it secret. So that's a problem. And that's why I'm telling you, we need self-governance. Otherwise, they're going to try to ban crypto everywhere. Try to do any crypto in Japan, for instance. Oh my God. They don't even have access to stable coins. Okay, they can get Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a couple of other crypto, but barely. They don't even know what DeFi is in Japan. I'm not sure if they have any MetaMask wallet or anything like that in Japan.
Or access to VPNs.
I mean, you know Monero, right? Mm-hmm. You got a logo right next to your head there. It's illegal in Japan. Monero is illegal in Japan. You're not even allowed to use it. How would they know? I don't know. See, they got to make it illegal. It's like in Russia right now, any transaction over, I think, $8,000 has to be registered. You have to declare every transaction you make that's worth over $8,000. Otherwise, you're doing a criminal act. So governments are going to try everything they can to scare people off crypto, first of all. You know what's going to happen? People are going to bypass fiat and they're going to deal only in crypto. That's what's coming. Because the more restrictions you put on one side, the more it opens up opportunities on the other side. People will trade in crypto only. They'll say, why do I need to do all this mess with fiat? It's slow, it's cumbersome, and the government's all over it. When I can trade freely, faster, and more economically only in crypto. So that's coming. That's another future thing.
Now, Qris, I know is very common in the crypto circles, like when moon, let's say, when number go up. Let's say in this instance, like let's say the crypto markets are slightly under 2 trillion, right now it's May 2022. I think all this stuff is coming. When it comes, it's anybody's guess, right? I think there's definitely a generational gap with the people in governments across the world. I don't think they understand it. I think exactly like you said, and I think a lot of Eastern countries, like you mentioned, they're more prone to banning stuff versus it seems like some Western governments seem like are more the US government, like Joe Biden talking about Bitcoin like a few months ago, seem a little bit more apt to being open about it. Now, I think what we're doing.
France is very open.
Yeah.
Easy went to meet President Macron. Finance is going to be doing booming business in France. Just watch it. They're opening an incubator.
And I think crypto definitely, like you said earlier in the talk, there's just so much that can be done. I mean, Bitcoin, it doesn't even have smart contracts. Let's say, and it's the biggest cryptocurrency. I think a lot of people get a little bit jealous about people like me. I didn't get into crypto until 2018. I think we still have another 5, 10, maybe 15 years until people really understand what crypto is and what the heck it really can do. Like right now, we're just transacting numbers, but blockchain technology in general, there's so much more to it. I don't know if you maybe had any thoughts on that about people still need to understand like what a wallet is, like what cryptocurrency is. And then let's say within the next 10, 15 years, where do you think blockchain technology can go? Do you have any thoughts on that? Or
at some point, nearly all transactions are going to be done on the blockchain. Anything you're going to buy is going to have an NFT associated with it. You're going to buy a t-shirt and it's going to have an NFT associated with it. You're going to buy a Rolex watch, it's going to have an NFT. So depending on the product, some products you're going to take physical possession of them, like a shirt, let's say. And the NFT is going to essentially ensure the authenticity of the origin of the product and so on. You're going to have other products that you're going to be able to trade online, like Rolex watches, Ferrari cars, and whatnot, diamonds, rubies, whatever. You're going to be able to trade them on the market. They're going to be locked up in some safe somewhere, by a trusted agent. And you're going to trade online. You're going to trade a Ferrari against diamonds or whatever. You're going to do stuff like that, just for speculation and fun or collection. A little bit like you're collecting NFT monkeys right now or apes. You're going to be collecting real Ferrari cars and actual diamonds and paintings and whatnot. But they're all going to be associated with NFTs, and they're going to be locked up in some safe places. But the certificate of ownerships are going to be traded. But all physical objects are going to be traded using NFTs at some point, because you can see everything from its origin all the way to now. Even your house, it's going to be the title deeds are going to become NFTs. And everything that's been done in terms of repairs and construction work on your house is going to be listed there. And you're going to have the name of the contractor that did your roof and so on. So you know to sue when the roof flies off your house, okay? And you've got to get all that information available to you. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla wouldn't be one of the first car makers to start using NFTs to sell cars. Okay, Elon is smart enough to get into that, but I haven't told him yet, so it might take a while.
Actually, Chris, I have a fun fact for you. I live in St. Petersburg, Florida, and actually we're the first city in the world where a home was sold and the NFT was on the deed was on an NFT. And someone went on OpenSea, bought the NFT or whatever platform for, I don't remember how much ETH it was, but yeah, and that guy just moved to my area. Yeah, exactly. But Chris, I wanted to say that I greatly appreciate your time. You definitely have a lot of insight to a lot of these DeFi 2.0 projects that even I myself was not super familiarized with. So I appreciate you clarifying and clearing up a lot of that, and also a lot of interesting insight on regulations, a good perspective on where the future is going to be. So keep making your content. I'm watching it. I appreciate it. I hope our viewers do too. Before you go, do you have anything you want to tell the people?
Okay, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. 90% of all protocols that you're investing in are going to fail within the year. So don't put too much money in brand new protocol. They will fail. They're new businesses. Most of the new protocols are experimental. and just put a tiny amount of your portfolio in that. Put more money in protocols that have been there for a few years, But the new stuff, the new shiny thing, okay, always put tiny amounts in there. Mm-hmm. Be prudent. Read audits. Actually, more important than audits, make sure there's a multi-sig in the protocol. Okay, that's more important than the audit. There's a multi-sig, at least there's several people that need to sign off to take the cash out. Oh, perfect. And I'm going to be on a multi-sig for a new project soon.
Oh, really? You got to keep us updated.
Yeah. Tomorrow we have an AMA on my channel for Delta. It's called Delta Finance. And I've been asked to act as an advisor. And I'm making sure that there's security in place. So we're going to have a multi-sig, and I'm going to be part of the multi-sig. And developers are supposed to be KYC'd, and we're going to get audited at some point as well.
Perfect. Love hearing it. Hey, Qris, again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on to Degens for a Brighter Future. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure. We can do this again another time if you want.
Yeah, of course. Love to have you again. I look forward to it. Anyways, hey,
thank you, Qris.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Qris.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. And thank you all so much for watching Degens for a Brighter Future. Like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter. Links down below. Thank you so much for your time. Have an excellent day.